You're listening to Inside Outside Innovation, episode 56. Today's show is the second part of our three-part series from our live recorded session at South by Southwest. Our guests were founders and CEOs from Target's Techstars accelerator. Fernando Moncayo is a co-founder of Inspectorio, a service to streamline the process of inspection in a variety of verticals and to make the process more accountable and fair. He also shared insights about what it means to fail as an entrepreneur and how to avoid common pitfalls. Our Inside Outside Innovation Summit will be teeming with passionate entrepreneurs just like Fernando, who can help you understand what you need to do and not do for real innovation, whether you're an established corporate director or a budding startup founder. Startups get a chance to show their stuff with a $100,000 pitch contest, and corporations can stage purposeful meetings with them by becoming a sponsor. For tickets and more information, visit theiosummit.com.
Welcome, the last of the three amigos that were this morning at the wonderful panel from the Target Techstars accelerator. Fernando, same thing with him. Who are you and what is Inspectorio?
Well, my name is Fernando Moncayo. I am Managing Director and co-founder of Inspectorio. We are a quality control and supplier compliance verification platform. So basically what we have done is digitalize the whole inspection process. So instead of using digital cameras, pen, or paper to perform a critical part of the supply chain, what we did is we create an app, and the inspector used this app. So they perform the inspection using the application, then all the data goes to the cloud, and then from the cloud we can translate that into analytics to our clients, retailers and brands especially. And since we keep the data from that, we can use it as standards. We have geolocalization, we have defect prediction algorithms. We are just starting with some machine learning capabilities also. And our final goal is to bring transparency to the global supply chain.
Now, Fernando, you had mentioned this morning, you didn't just get started on this idea yesterday, right? You've been working on this for a bit. Tell us a little bit about the history and then what brought you to this and why the partnering with a corporation like Target makes sense.
Well, we've been always talking in we because we are three brothers, and we have been entrepreneurs for the last 17 years. We bankrupt 3 times. And so all the things that we learned during these 10 ventures that we have had together, from small to big ones, it's been incredible because I believe that everything that happened in the past is because of Inspectorio right now. So regarding Inspectorio, we started 14 years ago with a responsible sourcing agency in China. Now, we already have offices in India, Vietnam, already said China, and some partnerships in other countries in Asia, and offices in Latin America where we came from. So from that moment, we realized that there is a lot of things to do at the source. So, because we have been inspectors, we have hired inspectors, we have been working with other inspection companies, and the problem is that there is a completely lack of transparency and traceability on that critical process. There is a lot of negligence, there is a lot of unreported defects, and sorry to tell you, but there is a lot of corruption as well. So we are in 2017, and we are still, receiving 2 days later the reports in PDF. The data is absolutely discardable. When you just go to the company and say, "Where's the inspector?" They say they're at the factory. Okay, show me where. They don't know. And right now, we're in 2017, so we have geolocalization at the phone. We have the Uber business model, where we can not send the inspector, we just send the inspection file to the inspector that is closer to the factory, so we are faster into getting into the factory. Since everything we perform through the application, all the data goes directly to the cloud. And from that, you can create a whole network, Right now, we just start the program regarding Techstars as a third-party inspection company because we developed the MVP in Latin America. We only spent $8,000, in that first MVP. And then we tested with some clients in Latin America. We realized that we have the capability, to do some geolocalization, even to decrease the time to less than an hour. And then is how we apply to Techstars. And in Techstars, we realized that it's not a matter of being a third-party inspection company. We were thinking, and actually it's a reality, to become a software as a service platform for the inspectors of other retailers and brands that they already have the inspectors and they need the software to perform it. And the third stage that we're going to launch it by the end of this year is to have the software as a service for factory self-inspection. And this is kind of crazy right now in industry because right now the inspector is the police, the factory is the thief, and you are sending the police, to see if this guy is guilty or innocent. And it is because of that, because everything is manual. Everything is manual. But right now, you have beacons, you have RFID, you have geolocalization, you have all the tools in order to bring transparency and to empower this QC team at the factories to perform inspections. So the final goal that we have is that every single shipment from Asia, Latin America, or wherever the product has been produced, it must be inspected. And how you're going to do it? Through Inspectorio software.
You mentioned going through the program, you kind of changed your business model to software as a service. Was that directly based on like the mentor feedback and the interaction with the corporation of helping you rethink what that was all about?
Yeah, for sure. Even though we have been, in the business for 14 years, performing inspections manually as well, we knew the pain, we knew the need over there, but we didn't have, the strategic scope. And actually, that's something that we learned from people at the Mentor Madness, and especially talking with people in the retail industry from Techstars, because you can have the idea or even the invention, but the innovation appears with somebody takes that invention and solve a problem, or probably take that invention to a different level or different use. So talking with some mentors, we just realized about, that there is a need for the inspector of these large retailers and brands, that they are there and they were having the same problem at these multinational inspection companies. And then we realized that the software as a service is something that is going to help us, to be more scalable. And the real value of the company is on that. So right now, the third-party inspection company business just help us to be financial good health on the numbers because we are invoicing every day. But the real growth with Inspectorio is going to be when we can become like the standard on the software that any inspector can use if they want to perform an inspection. Right now, we are focused on apparel and footwear. We decided to focus on that vertical because it's the vertical that we had experience. However, we are jumping into whatever inspection that can be done visually, we can go. So furniture, toys, whatever, yeah. And then hopefully, probably in the next couple years, we can even think, to go outside of the retailers to other verticals where you also need an inspection software as a service platform.
Yeah, Fernando, one of the things I noted this morning, and then even as you're talking here, is you are a very passionate man. You have.
I am Latin.
You're Latin. Was this evident throughout the accelerator? Like when he gets on fire, man, he gets going. It's great. How do you translate that down to your team? Because I think we talk to a lot of corporations in our day jobs who tell us, we want to have a culture of innovation and we got to inspire our people, and so they get bean bags and ping pong tables, and they're like, go, be inspired. How do you get your startup and the team members around you to be inspired?
To be sincere with you, I believe that is the strength that I have, but I believe that, it's not good. It's not always good for entrepreneurship. Let me tell you this, because we are where we are because we have a balance with my other two brothers. So yes, I am the one who has the passion, but if entrepreneurship will be only passion, everybody will be bankrupt right now. And happened to me when I was alone. So right now, I am very, very lucky because you don't choose your brothers, you choose your friends, but my brothers are amazing. And they have all the capabilities that I do not have. So passion and this strength is good in some part of the development stage of the company. But you need to have a balance. Something that I learned in Techstars, especially because I am the one who is managing marketing and sales. For me, marketing and sales was like, okay, yeah, so you are good for talking, you are good for this, so you are the salesman, That is not real 100%. It helps you, but not always. And right now, what I'm learning is that sales, marketing, and every single part of the entrepreneurial life needs to be measured, It's about metrics, it's about KPIs. So sales, you can talk very nice, but if you don't do the right calls, if you don't do the research in LinkedIn, if you don't develop the network, if you don't have a great product, if you don't, it's a mix, you're not going to sell. So passion is great, and I believe that especially when you are in bad days, because if you cannot deal with failure, you are not an entrepreneur, and there are some days that are very tough. And you need, this energy. But also you need to have this balance, because that same energy, if you don't have the right strategic approach and somebody that makes you the balance, you can lose all the money and you can, make many mistakes. So entrepreneurship is about a team. Passion helps you, but it's about a balance. Something that I learned.
That's good. I want to hit on the potential mistakes. One of the things that we probably have are people who are thinking about starting their first business, so they're trying to get going with things. You obviously, through your years, have had several experiences, some of them successful, 3 bankruptcies, some of them not as successful. What are some of the mistakes that early entrepreneurs make? Some things that if you were to talk to those first-time entrepreneurs now, you could get them to at least miss a couple of the potholes that you've hit?
I'm going to answer that question, but before, what I believe is that, for example, if you bankrupt, for me, a failure is when you do not learn anything. That is a failure when you bankrupt. A bankruptcy could be also your most incredible experience that you have had in your life. And that is something that happened with us, because if you fail, if you bankrupt, you need to have this kind of mourning time in order to realize what was the best, what you can do better from that previous experience. And then you're going to become smarter, you're going to become stronger. Regarding basic mistake that I will see is that I believe that when you are an entrepreneur, some of the entrepreneurs believe that they have the idea and the idea is everything. For me, the idea is nothing. For me, what really is important is your capabilities to execute, to make things happen. So for me, idea is nothing. The other thing is that they believe that they can do it alone. And I believe that the real good entrepreneurs are very humble, and they are willing always to learn, always to listen to somebody else. So if you really want to grow, you have to be open for somebody, to tell you that you are not right. And if you really, other mistake is that you believe that you have something good, that you can do it alone, and you don't open that, or you don't show to mentors, you don't show it to new clients, you don't validate whatever you are creating. So you are spending money, and then when you send it to the market, then, reality is absolutely different. And especially in other not so developed ecosystem as the one here, but especially in Latin America, they spend even hundreds of thousands of dollars in the business plan. The business plan is nothing, This nice Excel, there's not reality. That is not what happens in real life. It's better, to take a couple thousands, make a test, and then you make the test. If it is good, you scale. If it's not, you just close it. So for me, entrepreneurship is a matter of experimentation every day, and you need to be able, to learn from those experience, and then if they are right, then you have to scale. Entrepreneurship is something that you have to be open, you have to be willing to learn something every single day of your life. Otherwise, if you believe that your team is the best, you believe that you know all the answers, then is the day that you are going to start dying.
I'm going to ask for any questions out here in just a second, but what I want to highlight there, because there was a couple of people who were talking earlier about how do you innovate in a big company or a regulated company or any of those things. What you just hit upon there is one of the things that's most difficult about innovation inside a large corporation, that still insistence on the business plans, on we know what our customers want because we've been successful.
Or here are the metrics we need right now for an idea that we have no idea what that's going to be.
Absolutely. And so it's one of those things that corporations are starting to do a much better job of learning to do that, both in the adoption of some tools like Lean Startup or design thinking or innovation portfolio management to be able to understand when they take bets and how small of bets they can take to experiment around it. But I think until you also then have the experience and exposure alongside entrepreneurs who don't have the luxury of time
or resources
or anything to be able to do that, you don't actually see what's possible.
I would say two things. The first one is I believe that we are in a stage on the management or business, but I believe that in management that what we have learned on the universities about management and actually how some of the universities are graduating the business majors is with a business plan, And so we're in the transition on, some universities that are trying to teach business in the way that it was 50 years ago, based on some methodologies and whatever they are doing, but 50 years ago. But right now, you already mentioned one of the best ones. So we are in this transition because what happened, if you see the background from a CEO, is the one that has 50s, 60s, they don't want to take so much risk. And actually, so that is absolutely opposite. And actually, the corporation at itself is great for not innovate because you have processes, you have to follow these manuals, and that is not innovation. And that is not entrepreneurship as well. And then in the other side, you have all these startups, that they have a different way of thinking, different methodologies, different attitude. So then is when you have this, crash. So what I believe is what happened, for example, with Target is a large corporation, but at least they have the willingness to be open, to innovation. At least they have the option, to get somebody strange to get into this building and says, okay, what can I learn from you? So I believe that regarding the corporations, you need to at least to have the attitude to learn and to open your doors, for the whole company to other talent. And the second thing that I was going to tell you is that regarding innovation, there are different types of innovation. You have the marginal and incremental innovation. You have the disruptive and the radical innovation. Disruptive and radical innovation, you cannot do it inside of the companies. You cannot do it because even the culture, from this corporation is made to kill this disruption and this radical innovation. So whatever you want to do on this side, you have to take it from outside. And if you want to innovate inside the corporations, you can do some marginal, some incremental innovation as well. So there is where I believe that this magic, with the startups and the corporation appears. And that's why these large corporations are willing, to open these doors to this talent in order to accelerate the process. Because right now, the changes that we are living, because we have exponential technologies right now, artificial intelligence, and you name it, is that the changes that these large corporations are going to receive in the next 5 years are equals from the changes that they receive for the last 50 years. Mm-hmm. So what's going to happen if they don't change? They're going to start dying, and you can see that they are dying. So you need to open the doors as a corporation, and you as an entrepreneur, you need to take advantage of that, but you have to solve a problem. You have to eliminate the pain that they have. And if you are capable, to talk that language, I believe that you're going to have success.
Thank you, Fernando. As a headline, it sounds like you're talking about inside-outside innovation.
That's the end of part 2 of our South by Southwest live recorded episode. Check in for part 3 to hear Josh, Fernando, and Brian answer key questions from the audience at South by. If you want to experience the same success as these startups, but you're tired of bootstrapping by yourself, you don't want to miss the premier Midwestern Innovation Summit. In the meantime, we want to hear from you on Twitter at the IO Podcast or the IO Summit and at InsideOutside.io. Until next time, go out and innovate.